here? The heck is going on here? Let me put on the heck is going on here? Let me put on the so nobody calls my phone. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? I have to ask my kids to bring my hey, bring my headphones, please. Thank you. How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
Can your girl come outside?
She not here.
Oh, yeah.
She with her daddy. My little one, she's with her dad. Hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all, hey. All I can see is joined. I don't see no comments or nothing. How y'all doing today? I got some counterfeit tea on part of the book because people were asking if they can have part of the tea concerning customary than counterfeit. Let me see how I can share this live right quick. I hope all is well. Did you look in my purse? Where? I didn't bring my purse. Just hanging on the door. I hope y'all can hear me. My daughter's gonna get my daughter is going to get my headphones so I can hear you guys. I want to talk to y'all about the Cosmere and the Counterfeit, the last chapter, because people wanted the tea on what happened with Robert and Tracy. So we're about to jump into it. I have to learn how to share this live with people. If y'all can, share the live or tap the screen. Hey, God's Favor. Hey, Revere. Hey, Cheryl. Hey, Miss Sweet Talks. Hey, Marcel Scott. Hey, Virginia. Hey, good day to you. Put them, help me. Take them out. Hey, Miss Mary. Hey, Norris. Hey, niece. Thank your daughter. Appreciate it. Bring me a water, please. So it's a little bit hot in this little Louisiana weather. It's like 100 degrees outside still. If y'all can see, I'm sweating. So anyway, we're going to get to the cost of mirror and the counterfeit. For those of you who don't know who I am Tremaine, aka Saved Bay, and God gave me this ministry page that you're on right now to help women heal, be set free from toxic relationships. I've helped over 30,000 women break soul ties and walk in their kingdom purpose. I recently wrote a book called Cost of Mirror and the Counterfeit, which is what I want to talk about. The women wanted the tea on what's popping and what's happening, so here I am to give it. So in the book, The Cost of Mirror and Counterfeit, they have, thank you for that follow, Nisi, I appreciate it. They have two people called named Robert and Tracy, two kingdom based people who love the Lord, who seek God with their whole heart. At least one of them seek God with their whole heart, and they decide to get married out of season without permission, without complete permission from God. They marry in the wrong season, which brings them into a hell-bound marriage full of warfare, full of every generational curse coming against them, every demonic spirit on both bloodlines coming against the union, causing hell, causing havoc, causing poverty, spirit spouses entering the chat, dealing with narcissism, Jezebelic spirit, the spirit of pride, lust, perversion, everything that they did not deal with before the marriage that lied dormant in them, got exposed the day they said I do, and it started right off with their finances. Tracy had got prophecies that she was going to get married 6 months before she met Robert. They actually got married in 6 months, which was kind of a red flag, but not, because a lot of people know when they want to marry somebody. At this point, they got into the marriage, things were going good. They never got the time to really get to know one another. They just knew that they loved each other and they both loved God, and that they just knew that God was going to bless it. God would have saved it, but because of their disobedience and lack of prayer and lack of fasting, they were not strong enough to fight what was fighting them in the union. So as we go through the stages of what Tracy went through going through the book. Tracy discovers her husband is in soul ties. She discovers demonic curses on the bloodline. She discovers spirit of poverty has hit their marriage. She discovers witchcraft, lots of warfare, lots of immaturity in the relationship. Things take a turn. They both leave their homes to move off to Georgia. When they first meet, Tracy moves to another state. Robert follows her, and they decide to get married. But the thing was, when you leave a place, right, you're also leaving behind familiar ways and familiar thinking, and you're going into the new. So their marriage did good when they were away from their home, right? Their home state. It's only when they came back to their home state a year later is when the poop hit the fan, and their mindsets went back to familiar ways, familiar thinking, familiar places, familiar friendships, pretty much familiar spirits. God, when God calls you to leave a place, you should not return unless He tells you to. Of course, it was an okay move for them to come back, but they were pre-warned before they came back to their home state that they needed to pray fast, speak against the things that will come against them before they got back, and to just stay rooted, stay grounded together. Okay, Tracy had no idea of the bloodline curses on his side until God revealed it to her the year that they had moved away to another state. Tracy didn't. Tracy was just a somebody, an innocent bystander that lacked knowledge, the full knowledge of God. The Bible says our people perish from lack of knowledge. So she lacked a lot of knowledge concerning the union, concerning when was the right season to get married, how to test the spirit by the spirit, how to make sure that it was God sent and not counterfeit. So Tracy and Robert ended up in this big spiritual mess, right? That involved so many people because they were surrounded by prophetic people, prophets, pastors, apostles, evangelists, intercessors. They were surrounded by powerful people, and because of course God did bless the union because God blesses our free will, but God also blessed it. God respects the laws of evil covenants. So since Tracy and Robert were tied to generational covenants, that caused chaos in their union, to where the spirits will, both sides will work against one another to get it to a place to where the marriage would eventually break up. One thing that Tracy learned later on in the marriage is that they never had the capacity or the strength to fight what was fighting them the entire time. Sometimes as women, vice versa, and it's just me speaking from a woman, sometimes we have open doors in our lives that attracts the wrong type of person to us. We can have the spirit of rejection on us, the spirit of abandonment on us. We can have childhood trauma. We can have a lot of generational time release curses that causes us to repeat demonic cycles. Wherever there's a cycle, there's a pattern. Wherever there's a pattern, there's a curse in your life. I'm talking to the women. If you keep meeting the same man, right? A different man with the same spirit, that's called a familiar spirit that's following you, that's hopping from man to man to man. And it's attracted to you because you still have a target on your back in the spirit realm that tells them, that shows them about rejection or abandonment. The quickest way that the devil can defeat a woman on the road to purpose in God is to throw the wrong relationship at her. Is to throw her, is to keep her in a state of emotion, a state of pain, a state of heartbreak that will veer off her entire destiny for months to years. That's what the devil can use against women. He operates off of our emotions. And if our emotions are everywhere, he has us. Like, it's just because of the desperation with Tracy wanting her prophecies to come to pass, with she didn't test the fruit by the fruit. Sometimes Satan can appear as a angel of light, right? He can appear to be godly, he can look godly, he can even speak in tongues, he can even quote scripture. I'm talking about Satan, right? And then we sometimes we tend to look at the outer and look at the antics of a person, and we feel like it's a real thing without testing the spirit by the spirit, right? So then we get ourselves into these relationships that God never called us to be in that season. Had they married in another season after they were healed, set free, and delivered from different spirits and generational curses that lie dormant in their lives, it would have worked out. So God definitely used this union for his glory to bring more insight and strategy to Tracy. And then, of course, Robert has to go through his season to get to where God needs him to be. But the part I wanted to talk about was the judgment chapter. Now, Tracy stood for her marriage for a year and a half, right? Um, Tracy prayed, she fasted the entire time, all while pregnant. She also was going through her Job season at the time. Tracy lost her job. Tracy was trying to pursue ministry full time. They were also very active in the ministry that they were at the time. Tracy ended up finding out she was pregnant. It was just so much, losing a job, going through child custody with one child, flying back and forth to another state every 2 weeks, trying to pray, trying to fight. It was a lot. It was overwhelming for her. Finances going through it, poverty hitting, causing tension in the house, causing them to fuss, to fight, causing the spirits to pin them against one another instead of them get together and go against the spirits that were going against them. It's so many things that happened. But during the fasting, Tracy learned all the spirits that were at play in her marriage, right? God was showing her, as the deeper she got into fasting and intercession, the more that God would show her concerning it. So Tracy, um, God showed Tracy 11 different demonic spirits that were taking place and operating in her marriage. And Tracy didn't have the capacity to quite beat it, but she had enough of power to pray against it and kind of keep it to um, a subtle place until she felt like she grew in God. Was doing all this, and Tracy was operating in a place of pride. Thank you for the gifts. Tracy was operating in a place of pride, not understanding that God was using her Job season and all the overwhelming things that they were experiencing together to humble her and bring her to a place of humility, because you cannot go into prayer and fasting and have certain open doors to sin. It's just some things that you can't do. God, he despises the proud, but he loves the humble, right? So Tracy was doing all of this while pregnant, while emotional, while going through the betrayal in her marriage. Her husband was in and out the house, the cheating, the lies, the women, the mental abuse, emotional abuse, things like that. Women know where I'm coming from. She stood for a marriage for a year. She prayed for her husband. She encountered witchcraft with her husband in this book. God literally showed her the woman that her husband was with was a practicing witch. Um, Tracy would have dreams to where God would show her who the woman was. She would tell her husband, and he would just be shocked that God would show her these things. She didn't have to go looking for nothing. Good evening. She didn't have to go seeking for nothing, because prayer and fasting alone exposed everything. One thing about prayer and fasting, it's going to expose everything that's lying dormant in your life, especially if you married, because God respects the union. When you're in a covenant, in a marriage, you're in a relationship with God and your spouse. So anything the wife or husband prays, vice versa, and they're praying and they're believing for their spouse and they fighting for their spouse, God is going to expose what's lying dormant, because that's what he does. Why would we pray and fast if God is not going to talk to us, show us, reveal to us, right? So God is revealing all these things to her, and she's, talking to her circle about it. And they're doing their best that they can do to guide her with the wisdom that they have. And after all is said and done, y'all, Tracy comes into covenant with a witch. Tracy comes in her marital stand. Tracy comes into covenant with a witch that entices Tracy, prophesies to Tracy, tells Tracy all the things that she wants to hear. And because Tracy is in a place of idolatry, Tracy has now placed her wanting her husband, needing her husband before God, in a sense. Even though she was praying and fasting, she still was in a place of idolatry. So because she was hungry for prophecy, hungry for a word that would guide her on what to do with her husband, God allowed this witch to come as an angel of light into her life to tell her what she wanted to hear. They have a verse in the Bible that says that God allowed a lying spirit to take over the mouth of a prophet. I don't know if y'all know that story in the Bible when God told this man to sit under the tree, don't eat, don't drink no bread on your journey, do as I say. The older prophet goes to that said tree where the man was sitting under the tree and says, hey, God told me to come along for you to come eat and drink in my house. And then God ended up speaking through the lying prophet, and then he ends up killing the man because he didn't listen. That's Tracy experience. So Tracy gets in covenant with a witch, don't know as a witch, think it's her friend. This witch, it just becomes this shoulder to cry on. She's accurate. What I want y'all to know about witches, about warlocks, about tarot card readers, about sorcerers, or all these things that you may or may not come in. I keep looking at these children. I just don't want them to go in the bushes. Come in contact with. They are just as accurate as the prophets and pastors and apostles of God. The only difference is they work for the devil, and they tap into the spirit realm illegally. They operate off of familiar spirits connected to the person they're prophesying to. They're not more powerful than God. Everything, they can be accurate on some things, but they're not all knowing like the Holy Spirit is. So Tracy comes in covenant with this witch. She prophesied to Tracy all the things that she's heard now, right? So the witch came to confirm everything that Tracy and Robert were prophesied, okay, on their union. Then the witch adds other things in these prophecies. Robert ends up talking to the witch. He's like, Tracy, I don't know about this one. Now, mind you, he in sin, doing his thing, right? Betraying his marriage and his covenant with God, but he still had enough common sense and wisdom to know that something wasn't right with this woman. But because Tracy was in a place of desperation for somebody to an extra person to guide her through this union, through this stand, she accepted her because she was nice to her. She told Tracy what she wanted to hear, right? But what Tracy didn't realize is the one moment that this woman came into her life, things started getting worse in her marriage, in her regular life, in her mental life. Tracy started to have mind battles, dreams about snakes. Tracy started to experience all types of stuff, y'all. And Tracy didn't even realize it was because of who she was connected to that caused this to happen. When people come into your life, always ask the motive. Always ask who sent you. And if they don't answer you, say, God, reveal to me who sent them. Reveal to me who put them in my life and why are they here? Are they here to help bring glory to your kingdom? Are they here to help me step up to do what I need to do? Or are they here to tear everything that you have built up inside of me down? It's like Tracy would lose herself. It was like they would talk every day, all day, her and this witch. It was a lot of back and forth. God would continue to drop dream after dream after dream to Tracy concerning this woman, and it's like she wasn't getting it. She would think that every dream was about her husband, or every dream was referring to her husband, and it wasn't. So when Tracy finally decided that all this back and forth with this witch and the anger, like the lady would get angry at her for no reason, hang up on her, and that was because Tracy wasn't always coming into agreement with her. One way to discover someone in your life that could be a witch or a warlock is when y'all have innocent conversation and y'all just talking, and y'all talking about God, and they get angry and upset and they gotta hang up on you and they can't deal with you and they don't want to talk to you and they want to cut you off. 9 times out of 10 you better look into that, because who gets mad at the truth? Who gets mad at the word? So when they would have these debates, Tracy and the witch, Tracy would not budge on her belief in God. Tracy wouldn't budge on her relationship with God. She would not budge on that. She would not budge on what God said. She would not budge on the word of God. So this upset the witch, because that means that Tracy was not coming into agreement with her. So the conversation would end that way. So God had showed Tracy that this witch was another familiar spirit that she dealt with. Anytime somebody wants to come into your life and gain control over you, over your mind, over the way you think, over what you do, over how you act, over who you talk to, that's a red flag, right? And Tracy was starting to understand that it was a red flag concerning this woman. So Tracy decided one day, I'm not dealing with this no more. Like, I'm gonna just cut her off cold turkey. I'm too old to go back and forth with people. She can go on about her business. Now, at the time, while Tracy was in covenant with the witch, Tracy had came across her mentor. Now, Tracy didn't know this was her mentor at the time, but Tracy knew that Tracy knew that eventually she would link up. Thank you for the roses. Tracy knew eventually that she would link up with this mentor, but it would be in God's timing, right? So soon as Tracy cut this witch off cold turkey, that she didn't know was a witch at the time, she just knew that she was tired of the drama and all this other stuff. It was toxic. She cut her off. Her mentor came into the picture. So one day Tracy just inboxed her mentor. She didn't know it was her mentor at the time, just a pastor she follows and comments on posts and stuff. And he calls her, right? And he tells her that this girl was a witch and that he knew it the past couple of months. But he said that God told him not to say nothing, that Tracy had to learn how to cut it off herself. And that if he would have said something, that because Tracy was in love with the witch, with the friendship, that means she was in covenant with this witch, that she would have cut the potential connection off from her mentor. So that's how serious anybody, not just Tracy, anybody's life can be. Sometimes God can't even send you the right people until you cut the wrong people off, right? And until you cut ties with the wrong people, God can't even position people in your life to help you, to guide you, to cover you, to teach you, right? So Tracy's just overwhelmed going through this. Her mentor goes to tell her, God said that he's going to deliver you, and he's going to get you what you need, what you've been asking him for. He said, don't worry about your husband. He said, God is going to have to deal with him separately. Tracy had no idea that that meant through divorce, right? So because her whole mindset was, I want my husband to be free. I want my husband to be delivered. I want him to be saved. I want the devil to let him go. So the mentor was telling Tracy, you don't even have you or your husband don't even have the capacity to fight the demons that are fighting y'all. Y'all don't have the capacity to fight the generational curses that are fighting y'all. Y'all don't even have the capacity to fight this because of how messy it has gotten in the spiritual realm. Y'all don't have and because he's in covenant with these spirits and he's okay with it because he out there just acting the fool like he's not married. You know what I'm saying? He got he have a shield over his eyes and ears, like pride is driving. So Tracy says, okay, well, what I need to do, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what to do. I served him the papers. I want to be, so it just went downhill from that because Tracy wasn't getting to the point to where God was like, you have to let this go or it's going to kill the both of you, pretty much. So Tracy ends up getting the divorce the following week after her mentor comes along. She ends up getting divorced. Tracy gets divorced without signing a piece of paper, y'all. That was God. Tracy ends up getting divorced without signing one piece of paper. This got to be the first divorce in history that did not need her signature to divorce her husband, right? So Tracy and Robert's exchanging a child at this point, their child, and Robert says, hey, I just want you to know that we're officially divorced today. I went to court, we're divorced. Now, mind you, Tracy was shocked because Tracy's like, I didn't even sign anything. I didn't even sign no paper. Like, I didn't sign nothing. How the hell did this happen? So, of course, Tracy's not nobody that, really barrels under pressure. She waited till he got his son, closed the door. Tracy drives straight to the park. I mean, Tracy screaming, she hollering, she crying, hey, Kel. She doing everything that she can possibly do to try to figure out how the hell did I get divorced and I didn't sign anything. And you told me, God, like Tracy is literally going off on God's headed to the park, like, you told me you was gonna restore it. You told me this. I prayed this. I fasted this. I did that right. I did this right. You said you was gonna deliver him. You said you was gonna deliver me. What's going on? How I get divorced without signing something? So Tracy goes to the park. She lets it all out. She prays. She sees God. She cry. I mean, ugly cry, snotting. Tracy had her moment in that vehicle. She banging on the steering wheel. She doing whatever possible to let it out, to let it go. Okay, and she like, God, you gonna let him get away with all this? I done stood for a year and a half. He done cheated on me. He done lied to me. All the women, all the betrayal while I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant again. I'm pregnant and divorced. You know, Tracy has this ministry at the time, and she is concerned because she like, how am I gonna help people? And I didn't told him about my kingdom spouse. Got on social media and went viral and da 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 da, and now we divorced. Like, how that's gonna work out? I'm pregnant. How that's gonna look to the church? How that's gonna look to church people? It was just a lot, and all of Tracy's chaos and all of Tracy's just tantrum. God said, "I'm gonna handle it. I'm gonna handle him." That wasn't good enough just for Tracy, because at this point she like, "What the hell I'm gonna do?" She called her wife coach. They talk about it. You know, she's telling Tracy, God has freed you from this from now. You got to figure out a way to get your emotions together. Da, 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 da. Okay. The day after Robert and Tracy divorced, Robert's judgment hits. Okay. Now I just want you to know, because of the covenant, being in the covenant of marriage, God go spin the block on whoever decide in the covenant that they want to cheat, they want to lie, they want to manipulate. But the judgment is harder for Robert after they divorce, because Robert knows the Lord. See, when you're ignorant to the things of God, God gives you grace, right? But because Robert, hey boo hey, but because Robert knew the Lord and he still rejected God, and he still refused to do the things that God told him to save his covenant, to walk upright in his covenant, now he had to go through. So one thing, people were calling Tracy the day they got divorced, and they was telling Tracy, Robert posted another woman on social media. You know, the ink didn't even dry. He was posting the same woman that was harassing Tracy, like I told y'all in the beginning. Posted this woman. Tracy didn't see it because they didn't follow each other, right? So Tracy at the park finding all this out, that this dude then posted the girl all over like his social media. And it was kind of funny because people were asking him, who is that? That's not your man. Is that your mother? Like, they were just, clowning. And Tracy's like, okay, God, I'm a church. I'm not going to clap back. Because God made it to where Tracy's hands were tied in her clap back because of her career choice, in her clapback because of her stance with God. God tied her hands to where Tracy could do nothing. Tracy couldn't go fight the woman. Tracy couldn't go fight him. Tracy really had to stand in maturity at the time and really trust that God was going to spin the block for her like he always does. So Tracy goes home that night. She's talking to her wife, coach, who has become her best friend at the time. And her coach is saying, God said, this is not your fault, that you did everything that you can possibly do. You know, you're going to have to heal from this. You know how many women this is about to help? Now, mind you, Tracy, while she's still married to Robert, people are prophesying to her to write the book that would come about because of their divorce. Ain't that crazy how God works? God was already telling her to write the book that she already knew to write without a title at that. 6 months before the divorce, God was telling her write the book. And God wasn't telling her to write the book, that Robert may think, or to bash. God was telling her to write the book so women can know what to look for with counterfeits, and how people can understand that if you enter covenant, if you are not careful, if you are not delivered, healed, restored, set free, and a whole person, how your generational curses and generational spirits can work with the other party's generational spirits to bring the marriage to an end. Because this is real. Hell is real. Just like God got somebody picked out for you, hell got somebody picked out for you. Just like God got a plan for your life, hell got a whole blueprint for your life as well. And if you're not careful, and if you're not knowledgeable, and if you're ignorant to spiritual things, the devil go in every time. The Bible says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. So anyway, the judgment chapter. Tracy's distraught. She's upset. She just has went through it. This woman has harassed her. She's gotten divorced without signing papers. The woman was hollering custody. And she's pregnant. Tracy's just finding out early on she's pregnant. Um, so she begins to see God unfold. She's on the phone with her wife coach, right? Wife coach like, you got to let this go. You got to heal. God said it's not about you. He got beef with God, his issues with God. He got a character flaw. He about to go through it. And like our people, I keep saying our because it's really about me, y'all, but I'm trying to protect people. So mutual friends and pastors are calling and like, God about to deal with him. Don't you worry about it. Don't you clap back. Don't you say nothing. Like, God is gonna handle all this. That same night, after Tracy hung up the phone with her wife coach, right? The wife coach said the other woman go put him out because he's no good to the other woman no more. He's divorced now. He really doesn't have nothing, and she wants to control him. And because she cannot control him, she's gonna put that boy out. She said, "Watch what I'm telling you." So I'm like, girl, whatever, because I'm thinking, we think in our minds sometimes that God is not gonna defend us with people that have done us dirty and dragged us. But what I have come to find with Tracy and Robert's story is that Tracy was so, God knew her heart motive, was so faithful to God and so faithful to her marriage and so faithful to her husband, to where she was literally crying out and laying on her face and turning down her plate for her husband, that God had no other choice but to come through. He had no other choice to come through, because it's so many times she could have clapped back there, but she didn't. So that morning, 2 a.m., Tracy's now ex-husband rings her phone and says, "Hey, can I come to the house?" And Tracy's like, "What you want to come to the house for?" And he's like, "She put me out." And Tracy sat up in her bed because she's like, "I just got this prophecy that he was gonna get put out. Like, the girl was gonna put him," but Tracy thought it was gonna take months for it to happen, wasn't worried about it. Tracy just wanted her peace, right? Sat up in the bed and she was like, "Can you repeat that?" And he said, "Well, she put me out." So Tracy goes on to tell him, "We divorced. So what you trying to come here for? I ain't got nowhere to go. I don't want to sleep in my car." Tracy says, okay. She allows Robert to come. Okay. The following day, they don't talk about nothing. Tracy don't want to talk about nothing. Tracy just want to know, hey, when you're leaving. When I tell you that after that moment, it happened back to back to back. He lost it every time. He would disrespect Tracy or talk to Tracy crazy in their home. They used to be home together, which is now Tracy's home. Every time he would talk crazy to her, get stupid with her, something would happen. He would lose a job. He eventually lost his car. He eventually lost friendships. He lost everything that God favored him with, that he built in his union with Tracy. He lost within a month of moving back with Tracy on his butt. It happened like a domino effect. People in Tracy's life couldn't even understand how God was moving so fast. People started asking Tracy, "What prayer did you pray?" And Tracy was like, "I didn't pray a prayer. I just prayed for him. I fasted for him. Half the time I prayed in tongues, so I didn't know what I was praying." So my point of saying this is, the book is not just about the union. The book is about the spirits that work hand in hand in your life. It's exposing the spirits inside of us as women that attract men like this, and vice versa. It's exposing bloodline curses that need to be handled before you get into a marital union. It's exposing the devil's hand and how he operates in relationships, and he's very strategic in doing it by blinding us with somebody that appears to be the real thing, but is far from it. That's why you have to ask yourself, God sent or counterfeit, right? Do they operate in the fruits of the spirit when you meet them? You have to, one thing Tyler Perry said that stuck with me, he said, you have to see people in every season of their life. They broke season, they mad season, they happy season, they on top season, because you can be with somebody broke, and when they get a little bit of money, they'll switch up on you quick, right? You got to see how people treat you in all seasons of your life. When you meet people, you're meeting the representative. You're meeting that fake facade that they put on, and men don't just do that. Women do it too. You're meeting the fake version of them, and you need a lot of dating to collect data on them, right? To see what it is. You need a lot of prayer and a lot of fasting and a lot of people with wisdom. That if you can't hear from God, you need to be surrounded by people that can hear from God. And I'm not talking about people that can just prophesy accurately. I'm talking about people that have a prayer life, people that live their life according to the word of God, so you won't get into a place to where you're stuck in these relationships and marriages, and you stand in it all in the name of the Lord, because you think that you're supposed to be cheated on and lied to and manipulated and used and abused and left for dead in marriages. Thank you, Lord, for the word. Ooh, well, I didn't even know people on here. I can't even see who's on here or not. But I pray this is blessing y'all. God definitely did not play about Tracy. There will be a part 2 because so much more has happened. Uh, this story is originally about me and my union, but I had to change the names to protect people. So if y'all do want to support me, right? Because I am with child. But if y'all do want to support me, like a video, share the video, share some videos on my page, go show me some love. If y'all want to get the book for y'all cousin, auntie, friend, my 17-year-old is reading the book right now because I refuse to have her go through the cycles that I'm in. What I did realize after writing the book is that I have a whole lot more curses to break. No, we did not get back together. No. No. As of now, God says no, and that's what it's gonna be, sis. We still co-parent. We have a child on the way. We have a 1-year-old, and I'll be having a baby before the end of the year. He has a season, his own season to go through. He's still in judgment. Something always happening, and I'm always there to be a blessing when I can. Um, yeah, it's just a lot. So I definitely want you guys to go um purchase the book, Wait on the Lord and Do Not Worry, and Your Well Doing. Never that, never that. I will always see God after this. I feel like I'm a walking billboard to tell women, like, hey, don't do like I did. Don't just jump into stuff and then you end up hurt. Tiffany Buckner said this. She said, your reward in having a narcissist in your life is having a narcissist in your life is your reward for idolatry, choosing idolatry over God. So as women, as we idolize marriage, we idolize relationships, we idolize this social media facade that they put on, that you know what I'm saying, we want this, we want that White House with the picket fence, we want the kids, we want to do ministry, we want to do this, but baby, we got to get us together first. We got to break our generational curses first. We got to come out of agreement with what we operate in first. We got to get rid of that rejection, that abandonment, right? Those childhood traumas. I made the mistake of just jumping in. And that's exactly what a lot of us do. And for some marriages, God restores and He wants to restore. God may not approve of your union, but God doesn't like pull your arm because you're jumping into something He don't want you to. God will respect your will, but God will also respect the laws of said person that you marry, vice versa. You can have bloodline demons, and that person can have bloodline demons. And if y'all not on one accord, or at least one spouse is not on accord to pray, to fast, to believe God, it's not gonna work. I get new revelation every day of why Tracy and Robert's marriage did not work, because it's a lot that Robert has to learn. It's a lot that Tracy has to learn. And because Robert, it was in the position where he continued to reject God because he knew better, that's God would do Tracy a disservice to restore something that he ultimately rejected God in. See, when you know better and you know of spiritual things and you know of the spirit realm, God not about to play with you and give you the same grace that He gives somebody that's ignorant to His process, that's ignorant to His ways, to His laws. God will give grace to a person that don't know, but when you know and you still do what you want to do and you still move how you want to move, that's like slapping God in the face and spitting in His face. So ultimately, God had to make it to where Tracy would be the person to have Robert's life come crashing down, because Tracy was not the only woman that he put through this. So if you want to read more, I have the ebook link in my bio, and I have the regular physical book in my bio. I would like y'all to go support me and purchase the ebook. It's sent directly to you, or you can purchase the book. It definitely takes a lot for me to get on and tell Tracy and Robert's story, because it's a lot of me, right? It's me. It can sometimes the devil will cause you or try to shame you for your decisions, or shame you for the mistakes you make, but I'm not ashamed because God has already redeemed me. God has restored me since. God has already given me double for my trouble. It's crazy, y'all. I'm stepping in my house, y'all. I'm sorry. God has already given me, turn it on, has already given me double for my trouble um since all of this has happened. So he's just making it to where your girl is getting back on her feet. Hey Ray, hey, y'all told my wife, Coach. Hey, I just told the whole story, Ray, and you was not on here. I mean, from light to dark. I just told the whole thing. But I definitely want you guys to go support the book. Go buy the ebook. Go buy the regular book. Check out my other books. I have other books called Breaking Soul Ties that helped over 30,000 women break free from sexual soul ties. I have Healing from Heartbreak and Betrayal. And I have one more book that I'm working on now called The Devil's Relationship Playbook. Yes, go. But the book is fire. I told them part of the story with Tracy and Robert. I told them the juicy parts. So I hope you guys enjoyed the videos. I can't even see who on here and who not on here. I just see comments. So I definitely love you guys. Take from this video is make sure before you say I do that you seek God, that you don't just seek prophecies, that you seek God, that you make sure that your house is clean, as in your physical soul, your body is clean of demonic curses, of generational curses. Make sure you work on yourself. Make sure you get to a place where you hear God directly so you won't have to blame nobody because they said do this and they said do that. Know how to tell the difference between a God sent or a counterfeit, or you will suffer. You will suffer, and God will use it for His glory. God may not agree with our decisions, but He will definitely use it to work it out for our good. And we don't even deserve that. Like, I don't even deserve the grace and the mercy that God has given me. I don't deserve the things that He's doing for me. It's y'all. Go get the book. Go get the book. Go get the book. It's tea. It's tea. It's tea. It's tea. It's not just perfect. It's prophetic tea. He always works it out. So no, we and him are not. I'm just reading the comment. No, we are not back together. Um, we co-parent, and that's it. We co-parent for now. God said no, 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 no. It will be a disservice to me, and we don't know what the future holds, but I'm holding down the fort as a single mother, entrepreneur. I have a career outside of TikTok. And, that's just what it's going to be until God sends the right one. So I hope you guys grab the book. I hope y'all learn from my story. I pray that all my videos help you guys, point you closer to God, make you really look at yourself in the mirror and question if you really have repeated cycles of meeting different men with the same spirit. So, I'm going to call it a night. I'm going to go enjoy my children and cook for them. And I hope y'all grab the book. And if not, y'all have a great day. Go like a video, go share my TikTok page, whatever. Just go get the book. Go get the book. Go get the book. Because it's more than what I said in the book. It's a lot of juicy stuff that happened in the book. So you want to get free, go get the book. You want to see what happened, go get the book. Because I don't want to get no inboxes about what happened, how it happened, why y'all not. Go get the book. So you guys have an amazing night. Hit that follow button. I'll see y'all in the next live.